Welcome everybody, and we are in week 2 of the AFL, and we are at the MCG for the Carlton versus Collingwood game. Both teams lost in the first round, so looking for their first win. Carlton currently, as we end 3/4 time, 7-9-51, Collingwood 10-5-65, and there's going to be another video later on with a unboxing, so that might be worth watching. As you can see, we've got an extra dice here. There's a couple of new rules I'm trying out from round 2. One is the mark. If you make a successful mark, you can try for another mark to move further forward, and this dice is used for what happens with the play after there's been a behind, but we'll get to that later. So we're in the centre. Both teams have lined up, and the centre bounce is going to be won by Carlton, and they're going to take the ball in the midfield, and we're going to get a highlight reel. So the highlight reel chart comes out. We roll the dice. Let's see what the highlight reel is. 8 in midfield. Series of beautiful hand passes lead to a kick for a goal for the green die. So that's going to be Carlton's Levi Cassabolt, and he's got a 2, and the dice is a 2, so it's a good kick. Sorry, we can't use that 2 because we've already used it. Let's try it again, but it's a 1 anyway, so it's still a goal. And so right at the start of the 4th quarter, 57-65, and we go back to the centre for the bounce, and that is going to end in a ruck. Both teams have got 4, so home team get the advantage 1-4, so it's going to be Collingwood win this, and they'll win it in midfield. 8 is going to be a tackle, so the black and white dice will give us the players, and it's going to be Elliott, who has got a disposal of a half, against Curnow, who has got a tackle of a half. So offensive team Collingwood with the advantage. Let's roll that in there, and they're going to lose that, so not a good time to have the advantage. And Collingwood give up the ball. Carlton take it in midfield. A 4 for Carlton. They're going to go for a mark. So the players are going to be 2, Zachary Williams, who's got a kick 3, and Latchley Fogarty, who's not got a catch, so he's got a 3 or less on the green dice, so he's going to miss the mark, and so the ball will be free, and it's going to look at skill on the forwards for Carlton. Half 1, 1.5, 2. Collingwood half 2.5, 3, 3.5. So Collingwood have got the advantage, and so Collingwood will recover the ball, and the blue dice is a 2. Midfield in the forward defensive team winning. They'll take possession in their own D50. So Collingwood with the ball. 7 is going to be a blast. Ground blast. Let's see how many minutes that's going to last. 6 minutes. And a 6 is star, so we count the stars up. That's not these stars, obviously. Half 1, 1.5, 2.5. Half, so 1-5 will be in favour of Carlton. So Carlton will go last. Collingwood will only get the chance on the miss chart. So let's see what happens with Collingwood. And it's a 6, which is a missed right, so we're going to get a behind for the kicker. 67 of Collingwood is Jamie Elliott, so Elliott gets a behind for Collingwood. And let's see who's taking the kick for Carlton. It's got to be somebody with a star, remember. 42 is going to be Jack Martin. He's got a star of 2, which becomes a 4. So can he get the kick? And it's a 5, so he's missed the kick. We go to the miss chart and it's a 4, and the black dice is a 3, so it's going to be a behind. It's going to be someone else. 52. So Lapsley Fogarty gets the behind for Carlton. Oops, got wrong there. So 58-66, and Collingwood will have the ball now. This is one of the new rules, and the way I play the ground blast is that both teams get a chance to score, but the last team is right at the end of the time. So whatever happens there on the last one is what determines what happens next. So a behind will give it to the defence in their own D50, and so what you now roll is this. 1 to 10 is a mark from D to defence to midfield, 11 to 15 is defence to defence, and 16 to 20 is just a normal action roll. So we've got a 17, so it's going to be a normal action roll. They're just going to play normal, and 4 is going to be, believe it or not, is going to be a mark. So Collingwood go for a mark, and we have to roll the blue dice because we're in the defensive zone, and the 2 is defence to defence. So they're going to be different numbers, and he's going to go Jamie Howe's got a kick of 2 to James Madgan, who's got a 1, so a 3. And so it's a missed mark, so there's going to be a loose ball. 4 is going to be skill. Half 1, 1.5, 2 for Carlton. Half, 2.5, 3, 3.5 for Collingwood. So Collingwood win 1 to 4, gives them on the challenge. And Collingwood will pick the ball up and have it in their D50. So Collingwood still have the ball in their own defence, and 5 means the referee's going to get involved here. Let's see what the referee has to say. And it's a 3. Offensive fails to dispose of ball, so it's an offensive penalty. So Carlton will get the ball in the defensive zone. Carlton are in the offensive zone, obviously. So it's going to be possession for Carlton in the forward 50. So Carlton just 8 points behind, 2 scores needed. And it's a 5, which is going to be another referee intervention. 4, defensive penalty for pushing. So Collingwood will take the ball. Let's have a look at a 4. And they're going to look for a mark between 4, Magden, and Dacus. So it's going to be a 1 only, and it is a 1, so a good mark. And this is the new rule where I can actually mark on from there. He can kick it forward, but I use a dice. If it's a 6, he doesn't do it. So they're going to go for a defensive mark. We need the white dice rolling again, and it's 5. So Dacos is a 1. He's going to kick to Josh Thomas. So it's got to be a 1 again. And this time the mark is missed, so we're going to have a loose ball. And 5 on a mark is skill. And we're up here now. So 1.5, 2.5 for Collingwood. Half, 1.5, 2, 2.5 for Carlton. So the offence Collingwood 1 to 4. So Collingwood keep it in the forward 50. The good thing about that rule, being able to mark on, means that you can move from defence to forward very quickly, and that is part of the game. They do move quickly forward. 7 is going to be a blast. Oh, before we do that, we have to substitute our last 2 players because we're at 10 minutes, and so Williamson will come on for Pedrevsky-Seaton, and Cripps will come on for Curnow. So For Collingwood, Roughhead, Huskins Elliott will come off and Pendlebury will come off, and we have Sear, but now we have a defender. So if we move him up to midfield, have we got somebody that can move forward? Yes, we've got Dacos. In fact, we've also got Elliott, which might be a better move. So Elliott's going to move forward, and so now we have a 7, which is a blast. And so we roll the green dice to see the number of minutes. 1, and 1 is skill. Half 1, 2.5, half 1, 2, 3. So Collingwood win 1-4, and so Carlton will go first, and then Collingwood will go second. So Carlton can only score off the miss chart on a blast because they're the first. I forgot the other yellow dice. So 7 is going to be a bad miss, so he's going to miss totally for Carlton. So Collingwood, now we've got to find a kicker. I'll put my scoreboard back for you. 21 is going to be Miho Majacek. He's a 3, so he'll become a 5 because he gets a bonus, and the kick is good. So Collingwood take a 72-58 lead in this game with 9 minutes remaining. So we're back with the officials at the centre. He's going to bounce the ball, and it's going to be a ruck, and they're both forward is their best ruckman. So 1-4 for Carlton. So Collingwood will win and take it in midfield. Collingwood with the ball, and it's a 6, which is a crash. We're going to need to know the 2 players, and that is going to be DeGuy and Pitonnet, and they're looking at 3, which is 1% against Star. So you look at the 1% for the offense, which is doesn't have Star. Pitonnet has a half, so he's got the best on the contended play, and Carlton will win that contended play, and a 4 in midfield on a crash for the defense will advance them into the forward 50. Carlton trailing by 14. That's 3 scores, 3 goals, but they do have the ball in the forward, and it's a 3, which is going to be a bouncing ball, and we're going to look at the offense wins automatically. So Carlton get the offensive win and is going to go for a kick. Who's going to kick it is the question. And 37 is going to be Jack Martin, and he's got 2 stars, so he's going to miss the kick, but he will get the chance off the miss. 10 is a video review. 4 is going to be a behind, so Jack Martin gets the behind. 59-72, and that means that we roll the D20 to see what Collingwood want to do. 19 is going to be a normal action play for Collingwood, and it's going to be a 6, which is going to be a crash. And it's 3, who is Darcy Moore against Harry Mackay, and a 2 is a star against a 1%. Collingwood's player Moore has not got star. Mackay has not got 1%, so it's going to be advantage Collingwood off this 1-4. So Carlton actually pick up the ball in what will be their offensive zone, and a 2 is going to be possession in the forward 50 for Carlton, and this is good for them. as we're down to the last 7 minutes. So Carlton have the ball. 6 is going to be another crash. Let's see who the players are this time. So it's going to be 1 Mackay against 6 Maynard, and we're looking at disposal against tackle. Mackay does not have disposal. Maynard has half tackle, so Maynard wins that challenge for Collingwood, and the 5 is going to advance it to the midfield for Collingwood. 6.5 minutes remaining in this game. Collingwood with a 13-point lead, and the referee is going to get involved here. Let's see what he's got to say this time. 4 is going to be a defensive penalty for pushing. So Carlton will get this ball, and it is a mark from midfield, or a mark attempt from midfield anyway, between 3 and 1. So that's going to be Zach Williams, who's a kick of 3. Harry Mackay was a mark of 5, so unless it's a 6, because a 6 would always be a fail. The mark is missed, and we're going to check skill. Half 1, 1.5, 2 for Carlton, half 2.5, 3 for Collingwood. So Collingwood win by 1, and so Carlton will take the ball in the forward 50. 6 minutes remaining, still need 3 scores. Carlton in the forward 50 at 12. That is an on the run, so they're going to roll the blue dice, see what happens, and we're in the forward 50, and it's a 5, and off the chart says it's going to be a defensive mark. So Collingwood will get the ball, and it's going to be a defensive mark to the midfield, and so we're going to go from Darcy Moore, kick 3, to Jack Crisp, mark 2, so a 5 or less. So a successful mark. Does he want to go again? He does. So Crisp with a kick 3 is going to go for Mihacek, so that's going to be a 6. So the second mark is successful, leading to a kick for Mihacek, which is a 3. And it's going to be missed, and then 10 will video review this, and under video review they change the decision, and Mihacek gets the goal for Collingwood. Carlton fans are not happy about that, but they reviewed and found that the ball did go through, wasn't touched, and so 78-59 lead now for Collingwood, and we have a bounce in the centre that's going to be won by Carlton in the midfield. 5 minutes remaining in this game. Carlton need 3 scores now, 4 scores actually, and 10, that's going to go over the sidelines for a throw-in. So the umpire faces out and throws the ball into the air, and it's going to be a Carlton win in midfield. Under 5 minutes remaining, and a 6 is going to be a crash. It's going to be Pitane against Degui, and a 6. Pitane is going to win the challenge, and with a 6 inside the mid on the offense, they're going to look for a mark. So Zachary Williams with a kick 3 is trying to mark to Michael Gibbons, so 3 or less will give them a good mark. He's going to miss the mark, so ball is loose, and we're looking at skill. Half 1, 1.5, 2 for Carlton, half 2.5, 3 for Collingwood. So Collingwood 1 to 4 off the challenge. Collingwood win, and they'll get the ball in the defensive 50. Sorry, in the midfield. No, D50 it was a mark, wasn't it? Collingwood looking to mark the ball into the midfield. Let's see who's going to be kicking the ball. Roughhead is a 2. Sear is a 0. So 1 to 3 to complete the mark. And he does. Do they want to go for a mark into the forward? Yes, they do. So it's going to be Sear, who's a 0 kick, to Grundy, who's a 2 mark. 1 to 2. That second mark is missed. So the ball is loose and we're looking at 1%, and we're in this zone here now. So Collingwood 1, 1.5, and Carlton half 1, 4. So they've got over 2, so 1 to 5 for Carlton. So Carlton win that, and they're going to have it in their defensive 50. Time beginning to tick away. We've got 3.5 minutes remaining in the game, and a 9 is going to be a scramble, and we're looking at skill. So Carlton half 1, 2.5, Collingwood half 1, 2, 3. Collingwood have the advantage, 1 to 4 on the challenge, and they don't get it, so Carlton will win it. So Carlton win the scramble in their own defensive 50, and they'll advance to midfield, but they need to do something more. 6 is going to be a crash, so we need to know the 2 players involved. It's going to be Patrick Cripps for Carlton and Josh Dacos for Collingwood, and it's a 4 clear against skill. Cripps has a clear, Dacos has half a skill, so 1 to 4 on the challenge, and Carlton win that challenge. Let's see what happens. It's a 6 on a crash in the midfield, and so they're going to stay in the midfield. The ball is with Carlton. 2.5 minutes left. 12 is an on the run, and that is going to result in Collingwood taking the ball and looking for a mark from their defence to midfield. From midfield to the forward, and they'll get a +1 as well. So let's see what's happening here. So we're going to go from Taylor Adams, who's got a 2, to Josh Thomas, who's got a 0, plus the 1 is a 3, and he's going to miss the mark. Ball is loose. I'm looking at skill. Half 1, 2, 3, half 1, 2, 2.5. So Collingwood 1 to 4. Collingwood win, and they'll keep the ball in the forward 50 into the last 2 minutes. And 11. Big kick up into the air, and it's bounced and gone back into the air, and we're looking at disposal against tackle. So disposal for the offense, half 1, tackle for the defense, half. So offense has the advantage on the challenge but lose it, and a 3 on a tackle in the forward 50 by the defense gives them, Carlton, the ball in the defensive 50. Minute and a half remaining. Carlton 59, Collingwood 78, and a 9 is going to be another crash. So Trey Roscoe for Collingwood and Adam Sard for Carlton, and we are looking at disposal against tackle. So neither has anything, so it goes to the offense. 1 to 4 for Collingwood to keep the ball, and Carlton will take it. And they'll get the ball in the defensive 50 as we enter the last minute. 9 is another crash. Let's see involved this time. And it is Adam Sard against Brody Mircek. 3 is a 1% against the Star, so this is half for Carlton, 1 for Collingwood, so Collingwood have the advantage, 1-4 on the challenge, but Carlton will get the ball. So it's a win for Carlton, and 5 makes the determination of advancing to midfield as we come into the last 30 seconds. The game is already over. And a 9 is going to be a crash to finish off the game. And it's going to be Zachary Williams for Carlton and Jordan DeGuy with a 3, and that is 1% against Star, so that's a 0 against a 2, so 1-5 for Collingwood to win this. So Collingwood take the ball, and we have a 1 in midfield, and they'll take possession in the midfield. And there we have the game. So Carlton finish 8-11-59, and Collingwood take their first victory 12-6-78. Hope you've enjoyed this fourth quarter of this game, and there'll be another video following this very shortly, which is an unboxing, so I hope you'll enjoy that. And I will probably also do a set of small videos just showing you how to play this game for anybody who would be interested. But until next time, good night.